there's some things I didn't say in the past. The kid, in the other film that I just made, there's a few things I didn't say about Sophie's new kid, which is that I thought the father was very, very good. He was very attentive. He was very excited and happy over the child. And Yeah, I think it is going to work out between them. I don't know what's going to happen with me because I'm waiting for people to come and help me. But as soon as they do, I want nothing to do with my sister. I want nothing to do with my mom. I want nothing to do with the whole family. Um, they're he's a churchgoer, and my sister's just denied me every single day of her life. And my mum's mad. So, I don't know, but I know that he's very good. He's a very good parent. I do though think that he doesn't really want Leo. Like he's got three other kids to look after, and he actually takes the younger son, the 8 year old, to school every day. So they live 15 minutes away. He had taken off work to live at home to work from home, but social services have told him that he can't leave Sophie with the baby whilst he's working from a computer. I mean, to be that, I don't know how bad things are, but it does seem a bit weird because he is a very good parent, and there are plenty of parents that can can work from home and have a child next to them. I think it is complicated because my sister she actually adds to the complication because you don't just have to look after the child, you also need to look after Sophie. A child in a playpen is actually safer than a child with Sophie in the playpen because Sophie Sophie's very good at mimicking people. So last year she did a really bad job because Donnie was the guy who was in and out of her life. This Donnie guy was like a tramp. He lived in a shed during the summer and then stayed and he kept all his stuff there. And then in the winter months, he would find people with mental illness and council flat properties and live there. So he was basically like a homeless person. And I don't know, he was always insulting my sister, saying that she's got lice and stuff, or that he keeps getting lice every time he sleeps with her. And in reality, Sophie did get a check and she didn't have lice, and therefore it was obviously him sleeping around, or perhaps he was getting it from sleeping in a shed during the summer. But he was trying to blame it on her, and he just wasn't a very nice person. Now, my sister's, it's called autism that they've named it, but I think it's stupidity. It's autism mixed with stupidity. But yeah, she likes to find people and mimic them. And when she was with Donnie, she kind of saw Donnie as being the norm, and Donnie's not the norm. I didn't like him. I thought he was very rude, but on the other hand, he was very helpful towards the poor. But on the other hand, it felt like he was only helpful towards the poor because he saw himself as better than them. So he liked helping people that he thought were less good, less. He helped people in need because it made himself feel better about himself. So he liked Sophie because he saw himself as being smarter, wiser, more capable, more able, and he liked to look down on my sister. And because my sister likes to reflect the person that she's with, she wasn't in the right state of mind. And now that I've seen her, she's been with this new partner for a year. She reminds me of him. Yeah, she reminds me of him, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that because he's mature. He's a lot older than her, and he's a good dad, and he's very mature and responsible. And now I'm seeing Sophie in a very different way to how I saw her last year. And last year I saw her as scatty and all over the place and thinking wrong is right and right is wrong. But in a similar way, I didn't like Donnie at all, and I was really glad that he wasn't the father. And I thought he was a liar, and he could lie and didn't and would think that there's nothing wrong with it. And I noticed that my sister started lying and thought nothing wrong with it. When she was with George, she was like George. George was quite smart, and he went to Cambridge University and was quite academic, and therefore I didn't realize that my sister was stupid because she just seemed to mimic and be like him. So I was very shocked when that relationship ended because she no longer knew who she was or what she was or what her whole life has just been about trying to mimic the person that she's with. And then when she had lots of partners, well, I feel like she went all over the place, and now that she's got a new partner, a new child, she's in a much better place. And um, social services were coming every day for 4 weeks, and I've seen the father with the child, and he's an amazing dad. And and I'm now, if the social services still visit every single day, even though this father is such a good father, I feel like it would just be an insult on him. I think they have already stopped coming in the weekend and stuff, but I have absolutely no concerns, basically. Um, I think he actually works with autistic people. He's worked with autistic people before, and therefore knew that Sophie has different minds. So if she's alone with a child, she will really like the child, and then sometimes she could just switch and just be like, I'm walking away, but not say anything to anyone, which is a problem if you're looking after a baby and need to be there 24/7. Um, but yeah, he's a very good dad, and I think the his ex-wife, who he's still married to, um, I think if she would have had a girl, I think there's a high chance that the soul might have actually been the same. Like I feel I didn't feel the soul was very similar to my sister, but I thought it was she was very similar to the father, and I felt like I also could see quite a good bond between this girl and the ex-wife of the partner, and because Sophie can't be alone with the child, the child is going to be at her house. My sister's going to be looking after the child, but she's going to have the supervision of this partner. And I think the partner did want a girl. Like it reminded me of Victoria Beckham, how she had 3 boys, and I think she really wanted a girl, hence why she had the fourth one. I don't know if she necessarily would have had 4 kids if she hadn't have had a girl. I don't know if that's the truth, but that's how I feel about. Um, and I feel like maybe the same in this station, but they're both happy to have a girl, and therefore I feel like it's going to be kind of like a three-way relationship with it. But that just makes me feel like I have no concern or worry over this kid. I have already booked my ticket to go and see the child next week, Monday to Thursday. But I might actually spend a lot of time in London. I don't really like my sister, and I don't feel any concern over the child. So I part of me feels like there's no real point of being around. I mean, I don't really like seeing this child because it reminds me of Leo, and the fact that he's in foster care, which is not where I want him to be. Um, and I sense though that my sister does want Leo back, but because of her changing mindset when alone, she can't have Leo, and because she also wants to live in Hawley, which is only a one-bedroom flat. They couldn't have Leo right now because they've only got a one-bedroom flat for 3 of them. Right now, the baby does not have his her own room. It's 1 bedroom. So they definitely can't be looking after Leo. And Sophie can move into the house in Birmingham, but if they did that, then the father won't get to see his 3 kids, who are down in Hawley. And also, if they're going to be relying um, on the ex-wife, who doesn't have a job and therefore can look after if they're going to be relying on her as a babysitter for their youngest, I see the benefit of them in not having Leo because, well, they don't have the space for having, and they could come up here, and I guess I'd be the main carer when he's working, but he might have to quit his job because his job is down in Hawley. So it would be an inconvenience for them to have Leo. So I feel like the plan should be for me to have Leo. And I don't care if social services say, forget the courts, forget. I'm not going to I'm not going to go to your fucking joke courts. I'm not going to talk to you social services. I think I would like there to be a SWAT team that just go into wherever the baby is, threaten to kill anyone that stands in their way, take the baby, and then just tell them that the baby's with the auntie, and that social services were absolutely crazy for not letting me have him last year. And then I do see, I've had a vision of Leo, and in this vision, I don't know, the kid was about 4 or 5, but I did see the child with me, and I feel like there is a point where I'm going to start past, allowing Sophie to have the child back, but yeah, they will need to be in a bigger house, so they'll probably have to. I would, because she doesn't like Birmingham, I would say that she should sell the house in Birmingham and go buy a bigger house down in Hawley where they can all be together. So I think I would encourage them to do that, and then once that is in place, maybe she can get the child back when she's, when the child's older. But I feel like that might happen. But yeah, I have no respect for social services. They have no ability. They have made zero contact with me, so I will make zero contact with them. They were wrong for not letting me have the child. I don't know. I need to know the truth as to why I don't have the child, why they failed me. Um, I mean, it could just be the case of that stupid woman that came into my house was just an idiot and wanted to hurt me. But why there's a group of people who I believe are watching my videos, why they've all unitedly said that we're not going to talk to her, we're not going to go anywhere near her, why they've all said that, I don't know. I don't see humans as being humans. I see humans as being stupid robots that are all wound up and are all just trying to turn against me. That's how I see humans now. So I don't know what they know or why. Because I know Sophie did tell me there was a point where they were watching my videos and they were shocked at what I was saying. I mean, I can't take my sister's word on anything because she is shocked on what I'm saying. Therefore, she is going to say that, oh, this is what other people think, when really it's what she thinks. So my uncle does the same. He's bipolar. He tells me that, oh, Kathy thinks this about me, but I was like, well, I haven't seen Kathy in 10 years, so why would Kathy think anything about me because I haven't seen her? So I feel like his view on my belief has been, he says that, oh, this is what Kathy thinks, and really it's what he thinks. So I know I can't trust what my sister says, and stuff, but I just the the plot of going on a reality show and getting people to know me, that's not going to happen now. I need to get onto some sort of reality show just to make the fake sacrifice seem real. But I feel like the majority of the fake sacrifice is not going to be real, and it doesn't even have to be me. It could be AI generated. I mean, this video technically could be AI generated, because there's some really good technology that can do that stuff. But there needs to be enough of the reality show for people to know that I am a real person. But yeah, everything else can be faked, and I don't really care, because I don't want the world. The world ignored me for 11 years now. I want to ignore the world for 11 years, and I want to be happy. I want to be able to do things, and I won't be able to do things if everyone knows what I look like. So I mean, I don't know. I don't care enough about the world to want to help it any longer.